Well, take it from a person that's lived most of his life like cattle. It's not easy, and I, just wanted to tell you that you're important. And
Vin Diesel thinks I'm important.
I not only think you're important, I know you're important. And you want to know why? Despite all your other accomplishments, somehow, some way, you are of the very, very, very select few that has seen The Last Witch Hunter.
That's true.
Talk to us. Talk to the world that's been watching you forever. Talk to all the people that have been following you, trusting your judgment, going to the movies because of the things that you say and the way that you perceive them. What do you have to say?
What really struck me about the movie, in all honesty, is it's about a person that projects one version of himself to the world and deep down is grappling with something that most people wouldn't expect. And you, as this badass action star that can just look cool no matter what, like right now, I think a lot of people don't realize you're this nerdy geek who loves Dungeons and Dragons. And I think people don't give you enough credit for the contributions you've made to the film industry. And in that way, I think you're very much like this character. What do you say to that?
I love you.
But I'll tell you why.
You are ahead of everyone. You shock all of them. They can't believe they... Did you hear anybody give a better answer than her? Guys, I want hands. Come on. Come on, people, you never, ever, be real, guys. You've been sitting doing that for years. You haven't heard anything close to that. She wins the award for the press day of October 9th. She is the champion. You're blown away. You've been doing this for a while. You've been doing it for a while. And you haven't seen anything like it. She stole the show. There's nothing, she did it. We can all go home. You're never gonna get anything that great, that wonderful, that perceptive, that honest, that passionate.
I promise you, because I was rewatching Multifacial from '95. Right? And watching...
You just keep opening up different parts of my heart. You had me at hello, by the way.
I love that film because it shows that for the longest time, people have to fit in a certain box in the industry. And since then, right, off of that film, a role was created for you in a Steven Spielberg film.
That's true.
And I think since then, you've done so much, like with, One Race Productions.
Sure.
You've done so much to challenge that perception.
That's right.
Could you speak a bit about that as a producer and with a film like this, which you were involved with from the ground up?
Yeah, I mean, I've never had the opportunity to directly influence a movie based on a hobby, right? All the movies I've done, even Fast and the Furious, ironically, profit from kind of the world-building exercise that one has when they play Dungeons and Dragons, or the concept of mythology that Dungeons and Dragons assists, because for some reason you have to think of mythology when you play Dungeons and Dragons. But I was also into fantasy, and when I think of building a character, I go so deep into building that character, and playing the character affects not only me but the way I look at other things. So Tolkien to me was all about the One Ring, right? It was about the ring, rings of power. After doing this movie, Tolkien to me now is all about death. Tolkien to me now is about immortality. Tolkien, his secondary world, at the core of his secondary world, the god Iluvatar of his secondary world created two races, man and elves. The elves were his second favorite. Iluvatar, not tokens. Iluvatar, the god of art, Arda, the world. And because man was his favorite creation, he gave man mortality, the gift of mortality. I wouldn't have been receptive to that kind of concept. And when I say a secondary world, I'm talking about the Silmarillion, which predates The Hobbit and didn't get tied into the overall mythology until once Lord of the Rings was created. But I use that as an example to talk about how playing a character, for me, is so therapeutic that I look at everything around me different. And so, whereas 2 years ago, if you said, hey, Vin, would you like to be immortal? I'd say, of course, we all want to be immortal. Who wants to die? But after spending so much time playing the character, the only thing I think of when I think of immortality is the countless lives, the countless loves, the never-ending mourning of all the loved ones you lost, and how painful that must be. And something I tried to incorporate in the portrayal of the character, where which you articulated better than anyone, even people that work at the studio, maybe even more than people in the film. You probably maybe even more than the other producers. I don't think anybody's articulated as dead on as you. There's a facade that Calder wears, and the first act, to the tail end of some scenes with Michael Caine, you start to see that facade break, and a window into the deeper part of Calder is exposed. And you picked up on it brilliantly. I mean, you're really the best part of my day. Just
This is the best part of my whole career. Vin Diesel bowing down to me. Please tell me you got that.
Did anyone get that? Was anyone paying attention? Guys, can we have one more round of applause for the best interview ever? It's not every day, guys. It's not every day. We need to be grateful for these moments.